Here is an example Excel file that I called Example Budget, and it has several tabs on it. We were going to focus on the loan payoff because this is an amortization schedule for a loan so that you could see how this looks for, like a 30-year loan. And you can see up here, you can put in the price of the home. So let's say you want a $200,000 home, then everything changes based on what numbers you put into these colored boxes. What is your interest rate? 4%. We can leave it at 4%. Is the loan a 15-year, 30-year, or 20-year? It could be. And so I've just assumed that someone got a 30-year loan. And because it's a 30-year loan, 30 times 12 is 360. So I've got 12 times D2, which is 30. And so this goes down all the way down to 360 months, which is 30 years. And you can see that over this period of time, the total interest expense, which is also up here, is $114,991.21. Now, since it's a $200,000 loan, we're assuming that you have to put down 20% equity. So you'd have to have $40,000 since that has kind of been the rule from the banks. So you put down 40,000, so really you're borrowing 160,000. So your beginning balance is 160,000. The payment was figured out just like we did, but this is using the Excel way for solving for payment. So if I clicked on that, you put in all the different pieces and then it calculates the payment. After that, we just assume the payment is constant. This is like a fixed rate loan, and so that stays the same in this column. The interest expense, I take the interest rate, divide it by 12 since it's monthly, and multiply it times the beginning balance, just like we were doing before, but we had a yearly loan. So we got the interest expense. So out of $763, 533 of it is interest expense at first. So if we subtract, you know, 763 minus 533, you paid down $230 on your $160,000 loan. And so your ending balance is going to be the beginning balance minus your principal pay down, and then I put here if you wanted to make an extra principal payment you could, because it's always a good idea. You can shorten the length of your loan. So and then I just have until you get to the end, this just says this is your motivation. It says be faithful. And let's say that I made an extra principal payment of 200. Oops, sorry, I'm not supposed to put that there. How much money can you pay extra each month on the principal of the loan? So let's put $250. And so if you do that, your interest expense went down to $67,000. If I undo, it was $114,000. So let me redo. So if I go down to your motivation section and I'm just looking for congratulations, congratulations occurs after 18.75 years. So you would have paid the loan off in less than 20 years when you had a 30-year loan. So that would be really, really good if you could do that. So I can change this back, and you could play with the numbers to see what happens when you change different things, or you might be considering your own loan and you can change these variables. You might just have a 20-year loan or a 15-year loan. And then also I forgot to mention, you can put what date does your loan payment start. And so that's kind of an older date. So we could say 6 June the 1st, 2015. And then that just helps you keep up with the dates. So this is the example budget file with the loan payoff tab at the end. And over here there's an example budget file and savings account. You can always look at that or ask me questions about that if you have some questions. This is an example file of like what I use for our budgeting for our family. So let me just go ahead and click on this. Um, this just shows you all the kinds of things that you may have expenses for, the amount that you could save each month, and your ending balance. And then for the amount that you save, it goes over here to this tab, and like slowly over time, this is really a Dave Ramsey kind of Excel file. Did I reach my first goal of $500? This is get $500 in your savings account, and then the next goal is to get to $1,000. And so by what you're depositing each month, you're eventually, because I'm OCD, I try to get to 12 months worth of living expenses. And so this tells you how you are in that progress. And so when you get all the yeses in this column, then, which is way over here, and it does take a while because you have emergencies come up and things like that. Then you have 1 month's worth of, or I'm sorry, 1 year's worth of living expenses, and then you're really good to go. You'd have $20,000 based on this person example budget in your emergency fund. So you pay for things like your car breaks down, or you have medical expenses, things like that come out of here. The tax estimate, this is horrible. Um, it's really a horrible example, so you probably would just want to figure out your what do you get to deposit over here on your budget file. Where does it say? Your salary. Just put this number in here instead of using it from the tax estimate. If you want to use this file, you can make something much more simple, because this probably was very overwhelming. Um, or if you are like me and you like tons and tons of detail, you could try to modify this for your needs. But the main focus was to illustrate a real amortization schedule, and then one that's flexible that you can change and play with for your own loan that you may have in the future. And so that's it.